we've reached a conclusion on the podcast.
Welcome to the Illegal Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. It's just a little podcast that we do where we get together and we talk about whatever interests us. We all pick separate stories and discuss those topics and have a good time doing it. Go around the table and introduce ourselves. I will start off. My name is Rob, and you may remember me from such films as Lead Paint, Delicious but Deadly. And also, smoke yourself thin and get confident, stupid. And I'm just here to talk about some topics and have a laugh or two.
Sounds good. Follow that. It's going to be hard. I'm Ryan. I like horror, and I'm an apathetic underachiever.
I like it.
That was a horror, not horrors.
Horror.
Horror.
Horrors?
Horror. Well, my name's Ray. I work in the solar industry. I stick panels up on people's roofs and make the world a greener, brighter, better place. Snappy dappy. Other than that, I'm just here hanging out with these guys because we have a good time, and I want some good times. Good times.
I want some good times.
Good times. Everybody likes a good time.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brian. I play a lot of video games. It's pretty much what I do. Play video games and talk to these guys. All about the music as well, I suppose. That's probably the secondary thing. I enjoy playing it, listening to it, writing it, recording it, eating it.
Eating music.
Yeah.
You know the music's good when you can taste it.
Of course. Nice and chunky.
All right, so suppose we should get started here. Does anyone want to get started, or we should just kind of keep this this flow thing going?
I like
this
flow. Just go around the table.
Might as well.
Like a goober.
So we'll talk my first story here. It's going to be the one about the dogs there in the group me, and it's essentially about Barbra Streisand cloning her dead dogs. All right. So I've mentioned before how in class when I was younger back in the day, it was all about cloning Dolly the sheep. It was all about it. It was all about it. Every day you'd come in, they talk about the progress they made, and it was always like there's always a percentage, and they're 97%. They're 97%.
What the hell
they're
is
so
this
close.
This video automatically playing.
There's a volume rocker on the top of your contraption there.
My bad, guys.
Anyway, eventually they came, and you came into the class one day and they were like, "We did it. We cloned Dolly the sheep, 100% clone. It's a success."
Showed you pictures and everything.
Yeah, and then no one ever talked about it ever again, forever. And oddly enough, here we go. We got Barbra Streisand cloning her dogs. So some of the essentially the thing to talk about here.
I like how the other half of the article, though, is sent Twitter into an existential crisis.
Yeah.
I'm a part of that crisis right now. I mean, not that I'm on Twitter following Barbra Streisand here, but
you clicked on the article. You're part of the problem.
I am, for sure. But the thing I wanted to mention here is, like, one, that here we are. We got full clones again. Interesting thing is she cloned her dead dog twice, so she has two copies of the same dead dog.
Did she take
strange.
the DNA from the cloned copy or
I'm
from the
not
original
sure.
dead dog?
I'm not sure.
I would guess it's from the original, because if you
I think you'd have to almost.
Well, I don't think you'd have to, because think about plants. We know you can clone plants by taking branches off them.
That's true, but only for so many generations.
Exactly, but even off of the same plant, once you clone it so many times, it becomes weaker and weaker.
Yeah.
So I think you'd get your most potent DNA
potables.
The original dog.
Absolutely. So the other interesting thing to think about here for sure is the fact that this technologies exist. It's, as far as I know, not readily available to us, but clearly readily available to celebrities, or people with money, however much that old $200,000 to clone 2 dogs, I suppose. I don't think that was per dog. And so that's obviously going to be cheaper, more readily available at some point.
So it'll be about 20,000, you say, for 2 dogs. So about
200,000.
Oh, 200,000. Okay, so 100,000 a dog.
And possibly, I actually didn't see if it said per dog or exactly what it said in there. I don't think I'm guessing $200 for both dogs, but I didn't actually see a breakdown of exactly how much it costs. But yeah, that's kind of fucked up, because I'd imagine you would notice, like, no matter what, like, you know, you always have animals and they always have like certain like quirks, like, oh, my cat or dog likes to do this. It's like really like a unique feature of it. Like all of a sudden you got it cloned and it like doesn't do it anymore, and you'd be like, paid 200 fucking K for this. It better do that weird little quirk. That's kind of why I fucking did this, right?
You will lick this peanut butter off.
So yeah, it's interesting to see where that's gonna go, and like, you know, how long until we just bring up the you know, oh man, my 1-year-old didn't make it, cloned it.
That's deep, man.
That is pretty deep, and it'd probably cost at least double. Probably before.
I would imagine. But the interesting thing about the chemical makeup of the human body is, it's like, when you break it down to all the chemical elements, you can buy a human for like $13 as far as the chemical breakdown. So, I mean, I'm sure it would still be expensive as fuck, but I mean, humans are cheap chemical wise.
Wow,
I don't know what to say to
that's
that.
profound too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, so bottom line is, I got my dog when he was like 6 months to a year old. I really don't know how old he was. So to have him as a puppy would have been really cool. Because I never, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I wonder. Also, yeah,
cute.
How does that work? Like, if you have an old dog, they can make it young again. Does you have it from a puppy again? I didn't see any details like that in here.
I feel like
it looked
would
like
be
she
a
cloned
rebirth
some
of the same exact DNA.
I've seen also evidence that supposes
Based
that you
on
can make a
these-
full-grown one as well.
Based on these pictures, it looks like they straight up just cloned the old ones,
I don't want an old
and
one.
it's like,
Fuck that.
They just assembled all these stem cells into a mold and then just waited for it to cure, essentially.
God,
Maybe.
it really doesn't go into the details, which is, you know, oddly enough, the shit that I'm interested in is the fucking details. Instead, it's talking about people's reactions on Twitter, like I give a shit.
Well, perhaps we should just research cloning next time instead of.
Well, it's hard. It's fairly hard to do. There's not like
Yeah, seen how
fair
they
enough,
just
fair
cloned the
public.
monkeys in China, right?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Anybody want to pull that up real quick?
Some monkey clones.
Yeah, and
Chinese
China-
monkey clones.
Yeah, the China.
Chinese monkey
and the
clones.
Chinese.
Oh boy. Maybe I shouldn't look this up.
No, it's amazing. It's the world's first ever primate clone. First ever.
Yeah.
I don't buy that shit for 1 minute. But
Michael Jackson.
Oh, and here we go. These monkey twins are the first primate clones that made by the method that developed Dolly, which was, I don't know, fucking 23 years ago. Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's interesting.
quarter
Yeah.
of a century.
They cloned them, looks like this, back in January, earlier this year. So kudos, Chinese monkey cloners.
Well, they probably get a lot more funding than like the United States gives like research anymore. Like everything's spent on defense, so
Yeah.
like not really
Well, not
a priority.
everything.
Not
Some of it's
everything,
spent
but-
on like
Offense.
offense. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they call it the defense budget to make it sound appeasing.
Sounds nice.
All right. So quick
Well,
question. Let's go around the table.
Okay.
All right. Would you have a pet monkey go?
No.
No.
Probably not. Sloth, maybe.
Mm.
As long as I don't have to clean it.
I would like one, but I don't want it to rip my face off, so probably not.
It depends on the type of monkey. I wouldn't necessarily
Like
call it a
capuchin?
pet. I don't know about those things. I would need something smaller, like a marmoset. You ever seen the marmoset
Yeah.
monkeys? Yeah, they fit in your like hand. They're they'll hurt if you bite you probably, but like those capuchin monkeys, like those fuckers.
They don't have the
decide-
strength of 10 men.
Dude, if they want to go rogue, they will like. It's a bad day.
Just peel your face off like a banana.
Yeah, chimpanzees are crazy.
Oh no, I'd never have a chimp. That's not even a monkey no more.
It's like a.
Oh, that's
That's
an
a
older-
roommate. That's a roommate.
Just
Yeah, that's
punch through your body. All right, let's go to the next story there, guys.
All right. I have basically going to be talking about what I think would be really interesting to see done away in video games is going to be loot boxes. It's been recently in the news for the Acerb rating system to bring up adding in-game purchases to their stickers to video games. That's kind of their solve-all that they think will appease people instead of putting this has gambling, simulated gambling in this game. Kids are playing it and they're 10 years old and they're like spending money on it, and it's wasting your parents' money. So it should definitely say like gambling somewhat. There's been a lot of countries that are trying to ban this loot boxes, like the Belgian government or the Belgian Justice Minister called a Europe-wide ban on loot boxes, mostly focusing on like Overwatch and I think EA. Battlefront 2 was in the news for loot boxes. Before I get into it a little bit more, what's your guys' opinions, starting with Rob, of like in-game loot boxes?
That's a tricky subject because there's so many different like single player and multiplayer, online, cosmetic, like so many different caveats essentially that can change it. But I really don't like to see them. In some games I will partake in stuff like that. In some games I just kind of flatly refuse. It kind of I think it depends on how, like Fortnite for instance, like it was the free one. I bought the whole one. I gave them like a season pass just because it was like pretty much free, and I really enjoyed it, and I spent a lot of time. Though. And and you got purely cosmetic things going on is obviously better than the paying to win scenario. But also there's something to be said about your hard work going towards like a possibly getting something super rare that could give you an advantage in some kind of gunfight. Would be fine in a single player scenario. So I mean it's one of those it's one of those hard things to really come by. I mean if they all went away, I would also be completely fine with that. I just really hate seeing a lot of them where they're going like PUBG, like $250 a key, and some of the shit where it's getting out of control, and some of the RNG is so bad. We'll use PUBG as another example where you buy 15 crates, you're getting 10 of the same thing and 5 of some other really shitty stuff that you just
bullshit.
You just don't want. You don't want it, and it's just aggravating. And in that scenario, it really bums me out and makes me not to want to not support the game.
Exist. Yeah,
codes do not exist in that game.
Yeah, I think the percentage of like what you get, even in Overwatch, I play that all the time. Like when you want to get like these legendary skins that only come around in the season passes, or not season passes, like Christmas event, and you're like, oh man, I really want that Roadhog skin. He's a reindeer, and like you buy all these boxes, and then you will never get it.
Yep.
And then it's
they're also playing to that quality in the human brain where it just like it's fun and it's only a little bit.
People love gambling.
Well, that's another shout out to Fortnite and how they do it, because it shows you how far you have to play to unlock the next thing and exactly what it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like everything's transparent, everything's
more
up
transparency.
Front. Yeah, it's like and in that game you have to pay and then play to still unlock those things, because you have to pay for that season pass thing or whatever, and then still actually play to unlock those things. So it's not like you just get them, and then at the end of the day, cosmetic.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think some things like that are really cool, but at the end of the day, it depends on what it is. I really like the idea of how Grand Theft Auto 5 does it, where you can buy shark cards and then it gives you in-game money, which is really cool. But I still hate how at the end of the day how expensive everything is. So even when you spend $50 on a game like that, it gets you, which is, I mean, it's the cost of the whole game itself. It can get you like 1 or 2 badass vehicles, and the time it would take you to grind to get that
insane amount.
Is like just hours and hours and hours, and I don't got that time, but I still want to have that amount of fun, so I'm willing to pay the money. But I think they're raping you for your dollar, you know what I mean? So I think that's a good system, but they need to be a lot more fair with the people that are actually supporting it. And the other point I want to make that I actually enjoy about this Loot Crate things is if you think about games in general, the quality of the game, the vastness of games, the amount of programming and time that goes into games now, like it's so getting to the fucking insane level. So I'm not mad at companies for making a couple extra bucks to pay a few more people or pay people a little bit better to create these products, because they're getting vastly better, like, over time, quite quickly. It's kind of amazing how, like, graphical versus even just interfacing, and it's really amazing. And so I think that supporting the gaming through the buying of loot crates, if you will, is good, but I don't think that companies abusing it is good at all. I think it's very bad for their people.
That's a good point too. You're bringing up about GTA, how I played that game. I played that game since its inception and played for a really long time. Never bought any shark cards, and the grind is so ridiculous in that game.
It is.
You can play just for all day, all night, and just not have a decent. You get a decent amount of money, but how expensive everything is in the, like, your decent.
Yeah, to, like, buy a
basic,
full pimped out. Yeah.
You're just even like a basic car. It's like, oh, it's $300,000. It's like, no, it's not. So, and if you come into that game and, like, you buy it, you pay $60. It's like pretty much still the full price to this day. Still $60 for that game.
They throw you like a Megalodon shark card.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe like
it's a weekend deal.
Yeah, like a $10 or $20 one, which really isn't a whole lot. And you start that game, you have nothing. And, like, let's say you got the $20 card, like, you can maybe buy a gun and the attachments on it and like a pistol, because that's all you can really get anyway, because it's not like you're not level 100 and have everything unlocked.
People have been playing
forever.
4 years
There's no, like, oh, you just started off, like, here's some people that don't have a lot of shit. Like, you're playing people with can lock onto aircrafts, have 100 million rockets, and just, like, it's put you in a position where you're like, oh shit, I kind of have to buy some shit. Yeah. And that's where it starts to get weird, because it's like, oh, you can drop $300 right now and kind of get all those weapons those guys have, or you can, like, play for the next 8 years and maybe have half of it.
Yeah, it's not fair for anybody the way it's set up right now.
I say get rid of them.
It's fair for Rockstar, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And then combine that. I want to just trash on them just for a second. Like, how fucking terrible their servers are when you're trying to play. Like, that shit's not even installed on my Xbox.
It's unacceptable.
Right now. It is completely unacceptable.
For them to make, like, more money than any other game and have it still be unplayable.
Yeah.
You'll get kicked out of your server within
2 days
5
of its
minutes.
release. And not even counting DLC and stuff, they had already made like $1 billion or some shit like that off that game.
Oh,
That's a lot of money.
What do you think, Brian? What's your opinion?
I think that as a whole, like, pay to win obviously is awful. Pay to win sucks, something fierce. I think that everybody should have the same opportunity that everybody else has as far as video games. I understand that some people don't have the time, still want to get the full effect of the game, and there should be some way to compensate for that. Just don't know what that way is. But I also want to throw in the ring. Really, I mean, what's the difference between those and trading cards, loot crates and trading cards?
Very similar.
I mean, you're essentially spending mom and dad's money to get that one golden Charizard that you want.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around.
I would say the odds are probably worse.
Maybe.
And how they can change the odds, like, I mean, once you have that card package,
it's yours. I mean, they can't hop in there
in
and
real
change
time.
it that we know of.
Just like
That's true.
Yeah,
But if
we
you were
know
actually
of.
playing a
That
game,
we know of.
Yeah.
let's just put it again, a game of trading card Pokemon, it would also give you an advantage to have that card.
Yeah, true. And then you just buy more. So it's very similar. It is this generation's trading cards for sure, because nobody's going to the card store anymore buying Pokemon or
I mean, some
Yu-Gi-Oh.
people still do. They're
Not
just
many.
lame.
But if, like,
they're just
yeah, it's weird. I mean, it is somewhat comparable, but also it's also kind of not the same thing.
yeah.
It's
Moral
like
of
you're
the
not
story?
really, like, gambling per se when you're just like, hey, I'm kind of just doing this for fun. Now I have the cards.
Because
As
those
opposed
cards
to,
were
like,
coming in packs.
climbing
of
leaderboards.
unknown packs. You buy like a 10-pack, you never knew what you're going to get.
Yeah, and it'd be like, this will contain one of these cards and
Maybe.
5 basics, so you at least know, like, you're getting something
Yeah.
instead of just getting combat pants.
Pretty free alpha bullshit.
Get your parents to buy loot boxes.
Yeah. To close out the subject, then, I basically just wanted to say, when you were talking about like compensation for the people developing the games, that's definitely good for like Fortnite. Obviously, those people worked really hard on that game. It was in development for like 5 years before it was actually even Battle Royale was even a thing.
Wow.
But I think like the biggest controversy is like the EA thing with the Battlefront 2. Like, they lost $3 billion from the backlash of fans, which is hilarious because EA is always known as one of the worst companies for like caring about the consumer, and I really doubt they're paying their developers any of that money that they're getting from loot boxes.
Definitely not.
Because it's
definitely not.
Well, that's why people need to vote with their dollars, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
EA, I think they were, someone definitely could fact check this, but worst company, I think 3 years in a row.
Yeah,
like,
it's
over Bank of America, I think was number 2.
Yeah, EA's always on that list, whether it's in the top 5 or the top 20. They're always there. So I'll close on that. I'll let you go on to your next subject there, Ray.
That's fucking depressing.
Next topic.
All right, guys.
The year was 1942.
At least that last part was
Set the
like at least a good, not necessarily a win for us because they're bringing back the loot packs. I'm sure they're going to be just as ass, and they probably didn't change much of anything, and just except found some kind of way to make it a legal loophole. But at least someone lost some fucking money somewhere.
Yeah, and it was EA.
Greasy pieces of shit.
Are we going to the battle, Ray?
Oh, it's up to you. I just wanted to set the scene.
I think I don't know if I'll go to the battle next. Let's I got something else. For you guys.
All right.
Well,
Save the
talk
spicy
about it.
tamale for later.
We're gonna go
We're pulling it
to
up.
there's a study out, and there's been many of these studies done on money versus happiness.
Money.
I don't think it's an either or scenario, is it?
Well, it's not either or scenarios per se. It's about optimum level of happiness versus optimum level of money, right? So like, does money affect happiness on any level?
Yes.
Right?
Probably a short burst of it.
I think that money makes it easier to be happy. I don't think that necessarily having money gives you just straight up, you got the ability to be happy. I think that having, let's just say you can buy whatever you wanted,
Right.
and you could give whatever you wanted to anybody else because money wasn't an object. People would like you. It would be easier to be happy. I mean, just I don't know.
Depends on how you define the happiness there. Check 1, check 2. That's all that depends by. So if money is what makes you happy, then you'll be happy.
Yeah.
Well, recently, Purdue University actually did a study on this. Another study. And
Another study.
what it indicates here is it says it might be surprising as to what we've seen on TV and what advertisers tell us that we would need to make, that there's no ceiling to how much money is needed for happiness. But there's actually some actual thresholds that's been found by this study anyways. It says we found at the ideal income point is about $95,000 for life evaluation and $60 to $75,000 for emotional well-being. So right around that $100K a year mark is what they found as like the sweet spot. And they surveyed, let me see if I can find, more than 1.7 million individuals in 164 different countries.
I think that's solid that they did that, like from different countries and not just like
Yeah.
one region. But I think like that probably goes with like the 100,000s, probably where you can live comfortably, and obviously currency runs our world, so that's probably where like you don't have to worry about it, and like you have enough to go out and enjoy yourself, and like it's not an issue. I think that's that threshold, and then after that you get greed and a little bit more. I mean, 100,000, I'm not making that.
Not even just greed, but beyond that, like let's just say like $100,000 a year. I've yet to make $100,000 a year, right? But I can imagine as far as financially what that feels like, and you can do basically whatever you want within reason.
Yeah.
You aren't going out and buying brand new Ferraris or anything like that, but you're living a very, very comfortable life. But beyond that level, like let's just say someone making $10 million a year versus $100K a year, how hard do you actually have to work for that $10 million? Like, I imagine you're working 80 to 100 hours a week, and you're just fucking...
Probably grinding.
Depends on how you make it.
Yeah, I think if you're making that much money, you're not doing anything.
really. I mean, it's probably
You
all
have people who
automated.
do
Yeah.
it.
Whether
like-
it be automated through person or not. I mean,
Yeah, like
you got to hit a button essentially.
You probably
got it
did that at
rolling.
the beginning of your
I don't know, $10
journey.
million? I don't think you're at that level yet at $10 million a year. I think that's
A
still,
year for? I'd say so.
I don't think so. I think you're still above that. Like you got to get into like the
Was
the
this-
$100 million game. To
I mean,
be
I think it
doing
might
that
be
kind
like
of shit.
60 hours of work, like of showing up to places, but
month?
not really doing. Yeah, like maybe 60
But
hours
you're
a
gonna
month
be
of showing up.
people. Imagine how much like, I mean, you guys have had managers before where where their phone is just constantly blowing
It
up.
doesn't stop.
It just
Yeah.
doesn't stop. Like say a district manager, or sales manager, or something like that, where it's just all day. You're in the middle of dinner with your wife, phone's going off.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of spending time with your kid at their baseball game, phone's going off. You're playing with your dog, phone's going off.
That's-
You wake up in the morning, you're trying to take a shit, phone's going off. Like
That's probably that
that's not
that
even
95K mark though, rather than probably much less than that.
Yeah, 100 million.
Definitely not your $10 million a year. That's not happening. But it also depends. Like you got your Jeff Bezos, who's has no reason to do anything ever for any reason at all for the rest of his life, but he still chooses
be
to
bored for the rest of his
put
life.
in the fucking work.
Yeah.
He's $1 trillion just isn't enough. I need more money.
Yeah.
And it talks about that a little bit here. It says this may be because money is more important for meeting basic needs, purchasing conveniences, maybe even loan repayments. But to a point, after the optimal point is met, people are driven by desires such as pursuing more material gains and engaging in social comparisons, which could ironically lower well-being.
I could see that.
yeah, for sure. Because like if
Just
I was at
comes
that
a
level,
competition at
like-
that point.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
When you have $10 million, you're hanging out with people who make 50 and 100, and they're looking at you like you're a poor piece of shit. And you're
Yeah,
just
but-
like, yeah, I got 2 Ferraris, and you're like, that's hilarious. You poor
I used to have
asshole.
a Ferrari.
Yeah.
yeah, I would just
I
love
crashed
to,
those
like,
for fun.
live in a little fucking like thing in the woods with like 900 square feet that I have to clean up. It takes no time at all, and basically if I can get Wi-Fi at a location like I'm fucking good, man. Like I don't know.
I think someone I was talking about something similar to this, where it was just like, what is it, you would essentially need as far as money to virtually the same thing to make you happy, and my response was like, just enough money to when you can kind of go eat wherever you want and never have to worry about what anything costs.
Yeah.
If you go to a place where all the plates are $200-$300, doesn't matter.
I'm good.
I pick what I want
Yeah.
and I pay for it and I leave.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
It's that sweet spot in between like insane responsibilities to be responsible for maintaining $10 million a year in profit to just being like, I'm good. I'm all set with what I got, and this is what makes me happy, and I don't need 8 houses. I just need what I want and what makes me happy.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I need 8 houses.
I know you do.
Yeah.
No, to be honest, I'm happy with the room. As long as it's a decent sized room.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Get me
easy to
by,
please. So, internet connection, an Xbox, and enough food to
I want
keep me
somewhere
not
to take
hungry.
A nice hot
A couple
bath.
buddies to play it with.
What'd you say?
Somewhere to take a nice hot bath. Like
Okay.
A nice.
Oh yeah, for sure. Gotta have a
Nice bath.
bathtub.
I haven't. I'd like a hot
Heat
tub.
up the stream.
I haven't
tub would be nice,
taken a
too.
bath in
Yeah,
ever.
It's been like 15 years for me, like a bath.
Missing the fuck out.
I mean, you
I'm
don't have to
missing
like
out.
rock all the bath salts and shit. But
Bath bomb.
bath bomb.
No, I just snort mine
There you go. There you go.
and then eat faces.
Recommend it. So I'm going to talk about a maybe a slightly sore subject that I didn't put on here. My knee kind of hurts.
I agree.
No, we're going to hop into it's just kind of a broad category, but the need for a new YouTube.
Let's talk about it.
And kind of, will it be an existing company that takes over? And does it already exist?
First of all, explain to the people watching this what you mean by a new YouTube.
From what I can tell, YouTube has kind of been slathered with restrictions and
Slather.
I felt it was a fun word as well.
It's delicious and slathered.
I don't know. It's not the same as it once was. It's not. I don't know. I got nothing.
It's ass, and they're pretty much going to find any reason they can to not pay someone as soon as they're like, oh, this person's increasing the amount of views where we need to pay someone.
Right.
Just be like, we don't like the way his face looks. He's ugly. Let's not pay him.
Their ability to direct traffic and what should be a free flow of thought and ideas.
Yeah, like I think as being personally affected by it, getting the email sent to me by the YouTube creator community saying like, hey, you can't get money now. It sucks. Like 1,000 subscribers and then 500,000 like views per month, I think it is.
That's 500,000.
It's
a
pretty
lot.
high. Like I'm
you
like
gotta have a million
Fuck
subs
you,
for
YouTube.
that.
I'm just gonna go ahead and just say that right. And we're gonna post this on you.
Yeah.
And people are gonna
And then
watch
talk
us
shit
on
about
you.
you.
But fuck you. Fuck you.
I mean, like
It's bullshit.
that
we'll
threshold.
never make money off of YouTube.
I don't give a fuck.
It sucks.
Next
but
YouTube, please contact us. We're looking to make some money.
I can see why they do have some limitations.
Brought to you by
like,
video.
by Vimeo or Dailymotion, but they needed to do something. Like I don't think that was the answer. I hope they tweak it and like lower it. But obviously there was a lot of people, like some YouTubers were explaining it that it was mostly like them trying to crack down on people being like recording, like say Rob is really popular on YouTube and I'm recording it and just re-uploading it, and like it's getting a ton of views on just that one video, and like I'm making money off of his video,
Right.
but I don't like, and then I'm getting subs for it. Like,
Well, that I think that's okay. Like, because you're helping boost that other person's popularity. Because you're doing that, they're getting more views too. I guarantee it.
Think about it in that same scenario, but the other way around. So I'm like Philip DeFranco, and like this guy's got this really awesome concept for a video, and he's trying to become famous. Instead, like I just take that idea. No one's gonna see this video that's got 153 views. I'm gonna pretty much steal it and make it my own, whether it's I'm stealing the idea of the video or literally just stealing the video itself and just re-uploading it like it's his own.
And 50-50.
50-50 what?
50-50 everything.
You think both people should get 50-50 of the cut?
Mm-hmm. Because if that guy had 153 views and no one's seen it, but had all the talent, and the other guy had the ability to make it seen and didn't have the talent, 50-50. Took both of them.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting take on it. Kind of along the same lines, but a little slightly off the topic. There is we're talking about the rules and how they're slathered. I just read that like they finally like banned InfoWars and Alex Jones from YouTube. Ooh. And I really don't like that guy. I'm gonna, before I say these next sentences, I want to be clear that I do not like him.
I also do not promote Alex Jones in any way.
I don't want to make it seem like I'm on his side at all.
But I do like that I had a big bowl of chili and I forgot it there.
But when you come out with a particular video, and essentially, if you don't know, he's pretty much got banned because he had all kinds of conspiracies about these latest shootings, and victims and stuff were complaining about it and how insensitive it was, so on and so forth. But then they pulled it down, and they pulled it down, and they banned InfoWars. I'm pretty sure like he can't post videos, or they can't post videos on there anymore. This like just recently happened.
Wow.
And for me, like when I heard that, I immediately just went, well, whatever he was talking about must have been the truth. Because they're not gonna ban it if it's just some guy saying some silly shit that's clearly not true. That's all YouTube is people saying shit that's not true on there.
Yeah.
So it's just really, really strange that they're gonna like be like, okay, this is the line, you have finally crossed it, and no more.
Too much truth.
It was just really weird, because that's what I just immediately thought. I just went, they wouldn't pull it down if
it's not.
Could have been true, or it was just
bullshit.
affecting the
It
families
was
more
for sure.
so, and
I mean,
they were
but
got offended by it.
That's the case with every video is affecting someone, positively and negatively.
Yeah.
Especially there's just so many YouTube channels just dedicated to destroying people's livelihood. There's one, they catch cheaters on there, and it's just like, what? You're gonna draw the line here? Okay. Looks like Ray's finding some interesting facts.
So there's 2.28 million subscribers to InfoWars, or the Alex Jones channel. Okay. Mm-hmm. It does look like it's still up, so the channel is actually still around. The channel itself is not banned, but there is no advertising dollars being spent on the Alex Jones channel. Is what it looks like.
Does it say the Alex Jones channel or InfoWars in particular? I was under the impression it was InfoWars.
Oh, well, over here it's talking about YouTube removes ads from InfoWars Alex Jones channel. So it just
So
references
InfoWars is like a network.
Demonetized them.
InfoWars
Yeah,
is his shit. Yeah.
So basically took all their ad revenue away from them, just like they did with Logan Paul.
off their YouTube.
Well, they must have taken down the video or something.
Maybe.
Well, they might have taken down the individual one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just like
I
the
don't know.
Suicide Forest
That-
with the Logan
that I
Paul, they
don't
took that
know.
down.
I haven't.
Or he took it down, whoever took it down.
So we've established that there's a need for the new YouTube.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Slathered.
Yeah. Well,
Do you think that another company that exists right now is going to take over? For example, like a Reddit tube or something along those lines? Do you think that-
RedTube.
Yes.
Yes. We'll
Well,
make it shorter and we'll do redtube.com.
Yeah.
That would
Sponsored
be
by
interesting if
Pornhub.
like something like Pornhub just kind of became the new YouTube and like everyone just like fuck it, just upload it to Pornhub. They don't have that rule and just like
Right. Yeah.
you know
everyone
what?
was like, oh, did you see that video on Pornhub, that viral video?
I really think that the creators of things like Pornhub care. Like, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that like as far as your privacy is concerned, if you go to like
100%.
Pornhub, you are more protected than if you're on like I don't know, some
Anywhere
kind of,
else.
like Daily Motion or some
Yeah.
shit like that. you
Well,
know
even
what
the structure of their like websites are ran so much better than YouTube or like many of the other websites. Like they maintain their
They
service.
know
to make
exactly
sure
what
the
I
video-
want.
Exactly.
Their algorithm's better than YouTube's.
Yes, the related videos below what I just watched, fantastic. Compared to YouTube, where it's just like
Why is
we're talking
Justin
about
Bieber
it
in here?
Yeah.
I've never once ever watched or looked or clicked on him. Why are you giving me a Justin Bieber video? How much did his company pay
So moral
to
of the
have
story
him pop
is,
up in my
Yes,
shit?
we.
I think that that I really think that if a new company is going to come out, it'll be. I don't think it would be wise of like any porn websites to actually use their porn website as the
No, but it'd almost
YouTube.
have to be like
But they would.
someone paying for server space already. I doubt someone just going to
Well,
be
I think
like,
they would just use their existing model and make
Yeah.
a YouTube out of it.
for sure.
You know what I mean?
So
It's-
maybe it
works
could be
really
an
well.
existing company. It'd have to probably just be a weird one that is probably not going to be a Vimeo or a Daily Motion.
I really think
No.
Vimeo is going to be the one that does it though, because like right now they're focused on like professional, like mostly like music videos, short films, and everything. But I think if they like start dabbling in a little bit, like having like some creator like that's really sick of YouTube come over, I think like say they get a personality like probably not PewDiePie is probably the worst example, but like somebody like say Philip DeFranco that has like a show that's pretty structured, or even Joe Rogan, somebody that embraces it and then like just kind of opens up like something like monetization to try to do so, because like their hosting for video is way better.
Alex Jones.
No,
Maybe
But-
now.
So
no compression is fantastic on Vimeo. So
recently, after YouTube started slathering their rules all over the fucking community there, a bunch of big YouTubers switched over to Twitch. And Twitch, I don't know if it has happened at this point, but
sure it could be.
they had, or at least were claiming they were going to allow just the uploading of videos. Like it was going to be a new YouTube. It was going to be a spot. If you're creating content, you can come to Twitch and we'll treat you better over here, essentially.
Yeah.
And there was like 3 or 4 really big names, like some of YouTube's biggest names as far as gaming streamers, and even some just personalities just jumped over immediately. Like immediately just signed deals with Twitch.
Another thing outside of Twitch, I think that would be really interesting. I have not looked at the facts on this because you just spurred me to think about this. But how much after YouTube's censorship shit with their demonetization and whatnot has went on, how much Patreon has went up? I wanna
Probably
know.
huge.
On Discord, all of those places. I mean,
Yeah.
it's-
Oh my god, it's probably been great for their business. They're probably just like laughing and just like having a great ass time.
Yeah, to go along with this Twitch thing, like one of the YouTubers I watch, Boogie2988, like he always has game streamed, but he's been doing it more just because like a lot of his like rage videos where he was like Francis, he like would swear like once and he would get demonetized, and he's just doing all it on Twitch now, and he's just Patreon pretty much,
Yeah.
getting all the income there instead of obviously.
I think YouTube is going to become a advertising platform here pretty soon, where like content creators, like local content creators like us, could just like post their shit on YouTube just to get people to watch it, to
Yeah.
switch over to some other platform so that, you know,
Yeah.
they can actually keep making the show.
Yeah, I think Twitch is gonna make their own video thing, because I mean, like most people will do their stream and they'll upload to YouTube. Might as well cut out that
Cut out
process.
the middleman, right?
Yeah, exactly, and do their own. They could easily do it.
Yep, I agree. No, I'm also reading here. This was in 2017, April 11th, so
Approximately.
almost a year ago. It says here, I don't think this is true, but perhaps it is. It says PewDiePie moved over to Twitch. Old Felix Jettelberg.
I mean, he's still uploading on YouTube too.
Yeah,
but-
I know he
yeah.
is, and
Probably doing both pretty hard.
just just while we're on the topic, what the fuck happened to him from when he like started to what? Like he went from just being like a Justin Bieber looking kid
oh yeah, he's like
to
a beard
just
now.
full blown like homeless meth addict.
Yeah, pretty
It's
much.
so crazy to see. Like I seen him the other day, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this on his channel?" Like I didn't even think it was him. Like he looks so
got
fucking
Kardashian
weird.
I
He
don't
must have
think
dated
that-
one for a little while.
I think he just is taking tips from Jim Carrey and his beard and that weird stuff going
Yeah,
on.
just like I just want to look
But
homeless and
less
strange for a
insightful.
while.
Well, I can't really say Jim Carrey's insightful.
Definitely got something going on.
Something.
Yeah,
Maybe
someone,
he's insightful.
someone needs
Whether
to do
he's
something
crazy or
about that
insightful,
shit
it's
Somewhere.
about
entertaining.
YouTube, because that shit's getting out of control.
For sure. It definitely needs a new one. I'll state that.
yeah.
I'm sick of the censorship.
Yeah.
I really am sick of the censorship. You know what I mean? The whole thought of free flow and thought and ideas is the fact that if you don't want to watch that fucking YouTube video, I said fuck. You don't want to watch that fucking YouTube video, turn that shit off and don't watch it. You don't gotta watch that shit. Nobody's fucking forcing you to click on it. Nobody's forcing you to stay past the 20-minute point approximately where somebody says fuck and you keep watching that shit. If you don't like it, turn that shit off. You know, it's not.
Turn it off.
There's no reason to have an argument about it. You don't gotta watch it. Just don't watch it.
It's true.
Just add parental control.
Yeah,
Just
say
get the fuck out of there.
at the very beginning, but like the word "fuck" will be said multiple times. If you don't like that, don't watch it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a rating.
Fair.
It should be rating F. That's it.
For fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck.
Fuck you, YouTube. Fuck you, YouTube. All of you.
Please
All
pay
of you.
us.
All of YouTube.
Give us money.
Oh, fuck you, YouTube. I don't want your money.
I'll take
Jeff
it then.
Bezos, if you can
Well,
give us some money, that
Brian
I need
Ryan will-
approximately $95,000 a year. But after that, fuck you.
Yeah.
All right, that one. That was your story there, Brian.
yeah.
All right.
It's on you,
Well,
bro.
if I don't know if I'm still connected to this TV over here, but I'm gonna play something here in just a moment. I'll give it a little preempt here. It's the way this video was done. I think it was done for Conan O'Brien. I'm almost sure of it, and it's done in such a way where it's like, oh, look how like funny and like cute this is. How funny and charming this this set of videos is, and you can hear people laughing in the background. As everyone may or may not know, like pretty much all things media, news, newspapers, magazines, whatever it is pretty much all manipulated by like 5 companies now.
I thought it was 6.
I think it's 5 companies now.
Oh, one of them got bought out.
Merger.
Yeah.
Merger.
So,
Let's see this shit.
I get it's just really weird. So people would be like, "What? So you're telling me that like all of news is scripted?"
Well, and if you look
Yeah.
at it, like
That's right.
I can't remember
All of it. all even down to your local news, your local guy, all of it.
I just want to let you folks know, viewing at home, that we're going to come back to this a little bit later in my segment. But I also want to talk about how, like, I don't remember what it was, but how many it shrunk down from, how rapidly. Like,
It
50
was
years ago, how many
hundreds.
companies there were.
It was
And then
hundreds.
50 years before that, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting worse. We're getting down to. I mean, even if it was 5,
Only one.
they're probably all buddies anyway. Might as well be one. It's probably just 5 for the sake of like tax
Keep keeping it away
purposes.
from the
Yeah.
It's not
monopoly.
even legal reasons.
Yeah.
It's tax purposes.
It's just like I just you gotta pretend you own this one as far as the books go, or else you're gonna tax me wildly. But I don't know that. But here I'm gonna try to connect this here. If you want to take a look at some of this shit here,
Roll it up.
Starting in 3, 2, 1.
and play.
In consumer news, economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny
Yeah,
step
seen
this
this
year.
shit.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors
All
may
right,
take some
we are
spring
going
out of the
to
Easter Bunny step this year.
pause it right there because this goes on for another 4 minutes.
Of the same exact shit.
I think it does change there.
Changes the statement, but
Yeah, it changes the statement,
keeps
but it
going
just starts
through
like
all the
cycling
different
and
stations.
going through. All I really wanted to say is I like told you so, and that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
To me, that is like absolutely fucking terrifying.
That's not what's terrifying.
What's terrifying, Ray?
The fact that's terrifying is not
Jurassic
the fact
Park.
that 6. That is fucking terrifying.
Or amazing.
Episode 1? Question mark.
Episode 1 question
The
mark. Lost tapes.
The Lost Tapes, the illegal podcast. The thing that's terrifying is not the fact that 6 media companies own this. It's the fact that there are individuals, regular dudes and ladies, just like us, minus the ladies part, that go to work every day and get paid. Here's your check every week to bullshit people. It's acting. It's not even real. It's
read a
not even
script.
news. And that, let's go back to the last article thing about InfoWars. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
you know, like, that's really weird. The fact that he's getting shut off and he's saying things that no one else is saying. You know, Again, I want to say wholeheartedly, I do not support, agree, or endorse InfoWars or Alex Jones in any way. I think he's a funny dude, but other than that, it's kind of crazy. But still, free thought of ideas and information. It's scary. It's very scary.
It's terrifying. It really is.
I think even like obviously broadcasting, like I applied to a lot of places because I'm a broadcast major, and like I'm pretty sure like Sinclair is one of the companies that owns majority of like the TV stations, and that video shows all TV stations. And I remember one of the reasoning that I didn't go with the job was actually the guy called me.
Oh my god!
And it was just on last week tonight about Sinclair and about like all their shady stuff. What's up?
I'm so freaked out because I really thought like Russia Television was like the one thing like that was not owned obviously by this one of 6 or 5 things. But if you look over at the video, there's a big RT there. Or is this an RT video?
I believe
about
it's
this?
an RT video because that logo stays there for the entirety of all the
Okay,
switches.
that makes me feel so much better.
Yeah.
And then I'm
Okay.
pretty sure they just stole the video from them and used it for Conan
Financial
O'Brien.
Well,
Probably, yeah.
50-50. That's all I'm saying. 50-50.
50-50.
50-50.
But yeah, Sinclair
50-50
like
tickets, loot boxes.
is one of the more messed up like broadcasting companies. And I remember like last week tonight, I like watched it the day before that guy called me, and like basically they broke down on last week tonight. I mean, it's not the best show for like knowledge, but he was kind of breaking down that they have like a script and they have to follow it like almost to a T easily. Yeah, which is very, and like I asked him about that. I was just like, do you guys have to run like certain stories? Because I would hate to, even if I'm just a camera operator, like I don't want to be a part of like where you're like, oh, we have to talk about like Trump in a good light today because his ratings are going down. And he just kind of gave me like the workaround answer, like, oh no, we sometimes have must run stories, but most of the time Sinclair is pretty good. And I'm like, okay.
Bullshit.
I didn't call him back at
And
all.
then he just handed you a script and said, don't say anything except these words.
Yeah,
Brian
so-
said, "Fuck you, YouTube."
Yeah.
That's what he said.
He sure did. Well, I believe that should probably bring us to our next story here.
All right. We got something somewhat similar, just talking about like corporations and controlling things. Pretty much it's going to be net neutrality. Obviously, if you've been anywhere on the internet since the last year, you've heard about it, whether you know what's going on or not. Obviously, Ajit Pai is the head of the FCC. They recently voted in December, I think it was like December 15th, to get rid of Title II of net neutrality and remove the public utility part of the internet, keeping it away from being limited. Like, I guess now we have fast lanes that are becoming soon. I guess they said that in April, the effect of the removal of the Title II is going to be in effect. So if you're like, well, we have it repealed and I don't see any difference, I mean, it's because it hasn't went in effect yet, but it's still not too late. So if you're thinking, why am I talking about this past the vote? It's because that you can still fight it in the Congress, and it can be repealed. They only need one more vote to bring it to the House, but the House is like, you need like, out of the 124, you need like 64 people to agree to it, and obviously Republicans and Democrats never work together on that shit, so whether that'll be stopped or not, but I don't know. Like, what is your guys' opinion on like having the removal of that Title II and then allowing like companies like Google to be like, hey, let's speed up our services like YouTube, so there's no competitor to kind of link it with that, like slow down Vimeo and like have YouTube be powered up.
So there was a point in time when that kind of stuff was going on lately. Like when I know there was a point in time where Xfinity, I think they were Comcast at the time, was intentionally making Netflix stream at 720 and buffer because they had their own Stream Picks, which they had just launched, and they wanted people to use Stream Picks rather than Netflix. And if you called in and said, hey, my Netflix looks shitty and it's always buffering, they'd be like, oh, use Stream Picks, and it'll stream in 1080p and not buffer, and then it would, so people would be like, oh, I'm using this shit from now on.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, that was definitely happening, and I would kind of hate to see that come back, and it's only going to be worse now, because that was quite some time ago, and no one is really using either of those services. That's scary. That's scary, and because it really comes down to who decides what gets the fast lane, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Because if I'm choosing what gets the fast lane, it's definitely not who most definitely is choosing who gets the fast lane. Some guy who has no idea what internet is, and he's like, well, I don't think this guy playing Xbox should get a fast lane because this email, this forward I've been forwarding on AOL for the last 38 years is more important than some kid gaming at his house. So
I will kill that guy.
My AOL email servers gets the fast lane.
Yeah, AOL super priority.
And he's probably still paying
I got a lot of
$10 a
stuff
month
to
for the
forward.
AOL email too.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about like these states that are suing the FCC and also putting in effect their own like state laws like for like keeping net neutrality? I think Oregon just passed like their law that was stating that like the state, like the companies inside the state have to abide by the previous net neutrality rules or their own set of like similar to what was in state, so they can't like affect it. I don't know if you guys seen anything about that.
I did not.
I heard about things like that, but I never really looked into it.
Yeah, these states are the ones suing as of February 23rd. California, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky, Maine. It goes on to about 10 other ones. And then there's also a handful that are also putting in their own like set of laws to be state laws instead of federal, obviously. I mean, similar with medical marijuana and like just the legalization of marijuana itself. I mean, states have their own laws and federal will try to mess with it, so I hope not. Hope Michigan gets on any of that.
I'm gonna go ahead and just jump in here really quick, just give you guys a quick devil's advocate, both sides of the coin type
for
thing.
sure. Great.
I can understand both sides for sure.
Yeah.
For example, all of us are fucking off on our games and having fun streaming our games to each other and playing at high speeds, and obviously that's important, you know what I mean? To us, it's a very important thing. But then, you know, the forward emails from the AOL guy is important to him, and it's important to the guy watching cat videos, and it's important to the guy.
I'm that guy.
You know, it's important it's important to everybody. There's no, you can't say, nobody has a claim on how important it is to them. It's important to everybody.
Yeah.
So I think it's obvious at this point that the thing that is the internet is a fucking public utility, since it's important to everybody. There is no claim upon it. It's our thing.
Yeah.
And so, like, to say that anybody has a fast lane or a slow lane is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, because it's everybody's claim to whatever it is, you know, whatever level of happiness everybody want to claim it is. But bottom line is, if and I understand that, like, that utility, that public utility needs maintenance and it needs support, which all takes cash.
Yeah.
Well, let's pay for it in our fucking taxes. No private entity should get to pay to get a fast lane, or other people that can't afford to pay, that have very valuable content that aren't, or just refuse to pay because of principle, shouldn't get a slow lane. Either way, it's just fucking garbage. You know what I mean? It's a public utility. It should not be a thing. It shouldn't even be up for debate. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, like, I think they just need to, like, revamp everything because, like, a lot of, most people think, like, it's an Obama era thing, and, like, a lot of people try to make it political, and, like, a lot of Republicans will be like, oh, this is all this Obama stuff, let's try to reverse it and do this. But, I mean, like, a lot of the main net neutrality laws came around 2005, and that was George W. Bush, and that was Republican, so most people don't realize that, and then the structure of it's based on the 1996 Telecommunications Act. And, I mean, that's quite dated, 1996. What were you guys doing on the internet? Probably not the things we're doing now.
I was.
So,
I got GeoCities website
Yeah.
doing my book
96.
report on Brazil.
I think, like many things, it just needs to
On
be restructured.
Nickelodeon.com,
Yeah.
probably.
I wasn't even on the internet. I was just playing Oregon Trail.
Just, I don't know, 6 maybe.
I was 6 years old. I was definitely playing Oregon Trail. That's all there is to it.
Like, floppy disks were still a thing in 1996. I think all of us can agree that it just needs to be looked at again and probably restructured, definitely. But I agree, it should be a public utility. You can't do anything nowadays without the internet. Like, you need it to run a business. You need it to be relevant at all.
Need it to be a part of a company.
Yeah.
And
Pay your
multiple
bills.
companies require
Yeah.
to have, like, even a smartphone nowadays,
Yeah.
let alone the internet.
Right, even your text messages. So, Verizon Smart Messages takes data, so it takes the internet, and then so does iMessage.
Yeah.
Everything takes the internet.
Yeah, walk into a store, try to apply anywhere, like, with a paper, like, application. Doesn't exist. There's that machine over there, go apply on it. Like, that's where, like, walk in Walmart, that's going to happen.
You're just pretty much walking in and going, here, you throw this away.
But that's really all I got to say on that. Like, it's definitely still to be, like, determined. Like, most people think it's done and
It's not looking good, though.
No, like, I mean, the odds are against it. I mean,
Yeah.
they were against it before, voted 3-2 against. But, I mean, it's still a chance. I mean, most people, if they have, like, that still stance of, like, it's not going to happen, like, it's going to happen anyways, it's going to be gone. I mean, like, the whole voting system, like, I mean, it's kind of broken already, but, like, I mean, I don't know, reach out to your people.
Restructure the series of tubes.
Well, it's just
known as the
even
internet.
beyond that. It's the same type of phenomenon when we were. I don't care what your political beliefs are.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
give a shit. But let's just for example, not saying this is the thing, but let's just say Jill Stein, Green Party, right?
Yeah.
I personally was going around, everybody, come on, vote for Jill Stein, vote for Jill Stein, vote for Jill Stein, and people would be like, I'm not voting for her. It's throwing your vote away. How she's never gonna win, and it was like, well.
Not
Like,
with that
is-
attitude.
Yeah. If you,
Well, isn't that
mean,
the
it's
theory
true.
of voting? Like the whole point is you vote and then you put your marble in, and then whoever has the most marbles wins. So like, if everybody does vote for her, then she does win. That's the whole point of voting. So if you're saying she can't win, what the fuck are we
theory.
voting for?
yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing? That whole mentality, and I think it's the same type of mentality that drives the other bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because, like, most people just think, like, I mean, I have faith, like, I'm trying to still stay positive about the voting process of, like, whatever, whether it's local elections or national elections or even on the FCC stuff. The FCC is, like, a private organization. Like, who picked these people?
Well, the Federal Reserve is a private organization.
Exactly.
The United States Postal Office is also a private organization.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. It's ridiculous that these 6 people can, like, control, like, something so big like the internet, and, like, they can decide, like, what to do, and I don't know.
And it's
Well,
even
it's-
weird how companies have access to offer a connection to the internet as if it's like
how they
like
get
a,
rights
like,
to
Yeah.
like there's a central internet somewhere, like in a vase, and like it's giving off lights, and just like we can plug the cables into it and give it to you, or we couldn't. Like, just weird that like companies even have that ability to have access to this
Why isn't it all
non-existent
free?
thing.
You know what I mean? Why can't any just dude plug into that?
Right.
And
Just
then-
have, like, a free Wi-Fi everywhere, just, like,
it's obviously already there. I mean, it's there.
It's gonna be pretty close to that, anyways. I think that if it did become an actual public utility, that would eventually happen. We would just pay for it in our taxes. And,
But I would not want to log on to like a citywide Wi-Fi.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. Like,
you would still
Wi-Fi,
pay
like-
extra, the fast lane, for your own service at home.
Yeah.
To get better
Or
service
have, like,
than everybody
your own-
else, because
I
you don't
even
want
think
your
of that,
information
like,
stolen when you're connected to the
that
public
would,
Wi-Fi. Or
that would
whatever.
also be paid for. Like, all these things, if everybody had them, would be cheap.
Yeah. I'll just close that, unless you guys have anything else to add on that topic.
I do. Fuck YouTube.
I was gonna say I'm gonna close with it was pretty similar. Fuck Ajit Pai.
Yeah,
Ajit Pai.
for sure.
Even when he was like joking, like Rob even brought that up not too long ago, not on the podcast, but like they even had like a mock thing, like, oh, we're gonna plan to put somebody in the FCC that works from Verizon. He just happens to be an ex-Verizon lawyer.
I want
That's
to change
not
my
a coincidence.
response. If I could shit on a drug, it would be Ajit Pai. Piece of shit.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
I think Joe Walsh had it right back in the day. He foreseen the future. Life in the fast lane.
Yep. Yeah.
Life in the fast lane. That's what it's going to be all about.
Paid fast lanes.
These slow internet.
You probably won't even get to see this in 720p. Welcome to that 180p club.
Life in the fast lane.
Alrighty, what do you got next, Ray?
Well, the next thing I got is we're just gonna talk. We're gonna get a little bit more lighthearted. It's somewhat more lighthearted. Portions of it aren't. We're talking about some aliens, folks.
It all started in
boy.
1942.
Started long before 1942, but
No, it started then.
that's the
See,
date.
the story opens up with
That's a fact.
So I know everybody's got their own beliefs on whether or not aliens are real, whether they're not real, whether they're intelligent, whether they're not intelligent, whether they're just little microbe germaphobes on the side of a space station, or just or if they're actually omniscient or not omniscient. I guess just self-aware human beings like us, So I think I'm going to talk about a couple different things. We're going to look at the Battle of LA. Have you guys heard of this incident?
It's a pretty cool movie.
I'm pretty sure that movie was like based off the idea of this, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. So, in the Battle of LA, it was on February 25th, 1942, a few days before, and this is a fact I did not know, there was a Japanese sub that actually launched like artillery shells at American grounds. You guys know about that?
No.
Yeah, we got fired upon actually in our mainland, which I didn't even know happened during World War II. But they hit some oil fields and stuff, and there were no casualties or anything, but it really got everybody on edge. And that was just like I said, a few days before the incident, and this is just a couple months after Pearl Harbor had happened. So a couple days later, there's just the shit that goes on in the sky, and the military raid sirens go off, and the whole military is assembled, and they shot over 1,400 anti-aircraft rounds into the air.
It's quite a bit.
And also had 50 cal machine guns set up, slamming bullets into the air as well. I read another article, I can't remember where it was. It said like 5 people died during the incident, 3 of them because they ordered a blackout of the entire city.
Oh yeah, and people were like crashing. Yeah, I was reading that. The link you sent. Yeah, that's crazy.
People were crashing. Like 3 people died in car crashes from the blackout, and 2 people died from heart attacks.
I'm guessing they didn't have lights on their cars. It's like they clearly didn't have street lights. Why were they crashing during a blackout?
Well, maybe they did have street lights, and then they did the instant blackout, and they crashed.
Was that horse and
They
buggy
didn't
then?
have their Jesus Christ.
Pretty close.
Mechanical horses that just turned
But
off.
if you guys see the photos I provided there, right? You guys can take a look at them. There's one that's the unadulterated image. If you guys go to the latest one I shared, it's not the video. I shared a video as well.
Pretty crazy images.
You can see the image that was unadulterated, and then you can look at the positive that was had the contrast turned up a little bit, and then the negative. And the negative is really where it shows the light. I don't think by looking at these videos or these photos that they've been like fucked with. You can see in the background of the original image, because it's really dark in the original image, you can see like these little towers over here type things. I don't know. Oh, it's hard to say.
I'm not seeing anything really, man, except some lights in the sky.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying, to be honest.
Well,
What is the theory that I'm supposed to be looking at?
If you take a look at the negative or really any of them, if you look right where all the beams are focused, it looks like a cartoon version of a flying saucer.
right. And this is my thing. It's a real picture, obviously. They have all these little like glowing, flying little lights around them, flying around. We don't have very good video of this. It's 1942. It is probably like 7 frames per second, black and white bullshit. But
I mean, you can see these little dots and orbs flying around, right? And then the thing that really blows
Or
my mind.
explosions in the sky.
Whatever. Okay, we'll call them explosions. We'll go devil's advocate.
1,400 rounds.
But either way, all of these lights are focused at a singular point, at a singular object.
Yeah.
They're not doing that for the fuck of it. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, if I was super bored February 25th, 1942, and I just felt like firing around into the air and pointing my spotlight in the sky, and then there was somebody else like me that, you know what, I'll do
But
the
all of
same
them
thing.
concentrated like that. That's
Yeah,
pretty...
8 spotlights, probably spread over Los Angeles,
Well, why wouldn't it just be
all concentrated on the same area.
the ship that's attacking, and they're all just focused on it while they're shooting it, as you would
An
an
alien ship?
attacker.
Is that what you're saying?
No, it could literally be just an airplane that they
It
shot
could be
down.
anything. It could be anything
how-
mid-explosion.
But how come this, you can watch a video of this. They stayed at this formation. They didn't follow a plane or anything. It stayed at this point. It just looked at this thing that when you turn the contrast off clearly looks like a flying saucer.
Strange.
And 1,400 anti-aircraft rounds. I mean, that you don't just fucking fire that
I don't know.
just for funsies. None of this stuff was done
Yes,
for
you
funsies.
do. I mean,
It could
it's
have.
fun, don't get me wrong, but these guys didn't do it. They were freaked out. They thought it was a
Well, yeah, it was-
Japanese invasion.
Yeah. So like, I mean, it could have been even just like a small thing, and it just sets one guy off, and then this guy's gonna shoot, and that
There's
guy's
been
gonna
a
shoot.
spy satellite. Could have been anything.
It
Yeah.
lasted hours, though.
if you read the actual article that you posted with this topic as well, that it talks about a couple weather balloons actually going up. And,
Yeah.
and
Just
weather
like
balloon is the
Roswell.
ultimate answer
That's funny.
Could
Well,
easily. be.
it's always
Weather balloons.
to go to.
it's always a weather balloon,
Okay,
right?
guys, I'll give you that. I'm gonna let you pull all your devil's advocate on this one because I have another story. That's a little bit more relevant. Let's skip ahead from 1942 to how you guys feel about 3 or 4 weeks ago? You wanna see some shit on that?
It's too old.
Yeah, give me something today, right now.
Erroneous footage.
Like,
There's the link in there.
Show
for
me
the,
a spaceship
the
right now.
Milwaukee sightings. It happened on March 1st, 2018.
yeah, I did
If
read
somebody
that.
can throw that YouTube video up for everybody to
Should
take a
have
look
it
at.
coming here in just a second.
Now, the interesting thing about this video is that the fact that this was a pan cut to at the end of a newsreel. So they're like, let's just, cue to this video or whatever over the city, and then this is what they seen. If we
You got
get
it pulling
this
up there?
I think so.
Okay.
We will find out. But yeah, I did read it.
I'm connected to the Xbox somehow.
Oh,
Did seem.
I could do that, but if you got it, go ahead.
Here.
This is some interesting shit.
I seen like in the article itself. Like, I don't want to say it before the video pops up, but like, could have been just like reflections.
only given
off
me
of,
the
like,
Xbox.
I want you before with the
As an
article. I
option.
don't give a fuck what the article says, but I want
Yeah.
you guys to see this shit with your own eyes and
Yeah,
tell me
I'll-
what you think after you see this video.
Oh, I watched it.
Because
But will.
I don't buy a. The only thing I see is an intelligent, moving thing. It reminds me of
bet
a
it-
school of fish, or a flock of birds. Intelligent. Moving
Oh, that's
species.
interesting. It actually looks just like this old visualization I used to have on Winamp.
Winamp,
Yeah.
brought to you by
Yeah.
Winamp.
Maybe it was somebody
Hidden
just
play
using
right now.
Winamp software. RIP headphone
If you couldn't
users.
tell.
Why don't you pop that volume down just a bit?
You should have it louder. I didn't hear it.
Turn it up. Turn it up. Plug in
Crank,
the amps.
crank it to max.
Crank that shit to 26.
Oh, now it's yours again for some reason.
Hey, what's up, guys? Tyler here with the Cure team. So I was in the middle of working
Bunch
on
of-
tonight's main video. However, after getting a ton of emails and messages and requests on social media, I figured, hey, I'll post this quick video regarding a news sighting that has pretty much gone viral now, and that I wasn't originally going to even speak about. But still, a lot of my viewers, having seen this footage and wanted to get my opinion, I thought I would post this really quick video sort of to put everything to rest here. And so if you don't know, this footage has gone viral after a what appears to be a weather camera from a local Milwaukee news station captured what appeared to be hundreds of glowing objects streaking across the sky, gathering together in the skies above downtown Milwaukee. Now, this was originally posted by Fox 6. The article to that you're seeing here, and I'll put a link to it down below. And so, according to and as written by Fox 6,
that gives us a good look at it, at least.
For a report on Tuesday morning at around 4:40 in the a.m. when one of their news team took a look at one of their
Pausing.
cameras and witnessed.
Yeah, like it could just be a bunch of gnats having a gnat gangbang on the lens.
I've seen some gnat gangbangs. It could be one of those. There's actually an interesting movie called Nat Gangbang 6, and it's got a very similar premise. No, but so far what I'm thinking is...
Are you talking about Nat Gangbang 6 or 7?
It might have been 7. It's where the gnats really
This is a 7.
got into it. Okay.
This is a 7.
Like, this was-
Interracial.
Okay, this was the live stream.
This is the live stream.
Yes.
Okay.
Nat Gangbang
Now I'm going to
live.
skip ahead to 2:30 in this video.
Oh, why are we doing that?
Because I watched this video and they pretty much show the whole thing just over and over again, talking
Okay.
about it a little bit, and the next little piece of information that they add is at that point.
Okay.
Bring it up.
Before we discuss it, we'll see this last little
There's
bit.
the news team. I mean, I didn't even have to do any further research. Just the very next day, Fox 6 has seemed to confirm that that's what this was after they captured another shot of the same area of sky, but from a more high-resolution camera and a different angle.
Talking about it being birds.
Oh. Oh, there you go.
No! That's not.
Logic.
Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god damn it.
This was the video you wanted us to check out, Ray?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't. Let's not forget you did share this. Now,
Pausing
now,
again at 3:21.
pause, and without playing it again, actually, I'm just gonna, so we don't fuck that up, is I gotta re-look at the originals here.
Do you guys find those at all similar?
The patterns of the birds, definitely.
Well,
How they move.
The fact
also,
that they went in and out of light.
Well, it was low res. Like it was saying it was a weather one, so it's probably like a 480p video.
Let
That's
me,
why it's super grainy.
Just all
let
of a
me
sudden get a shot
be a
of
little
light or
bit
something.
of the
Yeah, like-
advocate here, but when's the last time you guys seen a flock of seagulls flying around at fucking night?
Well, it doesn't have like. Is it seagulls or it could be another
I don't
bird?
often
A flock of anything
see
flying
birds
around at
Besides
night.
above a very
bats.
well lit
This is
city.
in Milwaukee. This
I don't
is,
study birds, so I'm
this
not
is
sure.
state over, bro. You don't have to study birds. You just have to fucking see the night sky every once in a while.
It's
I
birds.
can't see all the way to Milwaukee. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm rewatching this other one. It doesn't fucking look like birds, but I bet there is a reasonable explanation, as I find with most things. Is let's not forget that there is a,
Fisheye
convex,
effect,
like lens on there, and that was also probably shining through a window. Most likely, we don't know that for sure. So I mean, we could be dealing with refractions, reflections, any of that shit. It could be anything.
The thing that really tells me that, or makes me want to believe that it's not, is the fact that they changed their angle of orientation, and they changed their brightness.
They do, which would be all right for a reflection. Could definitely happen if they're flying around through like lights.
Let's just say it's not reflection though. Let's just say it's not a trick of the camera. That would most definitely indicate some sort of intelligent.
But no one else saw it except through this lens. Like, don't you think there'd have been above Milwaukee more than just one news source capturing it?
I don't know, Rob. It was one of the 6 or 5 companies
Exactly.
that own
So
our
that-
media that was
now,
showing it to
If
us.
there was 500,000 versions of this video, and we were like, oh shit, everyone caught these weird lights floating around.
Yeah, I think nowadays with a camera in your pocket that's 4K at all times, I would have seen a really convincing video. Like I do not I believe aliens are out there. I just don't believe they've reached Earth.
They actually do go a little. Actually, about the part you're at now, they did show the birds flying around at night. They did.
3:20.
Yeah, they did actually show that.
Starting
but
back up at 3:23.
it's exactly where it was playing on mine. It's so weird.
Now, of course, you'll have people out there saying, well, this is just a cover-up. This is just a theory by the Fox.
Look at those reflections of the light right there.
And of course, technically,
see that?
we can't say for sure 100% that what we're seeing in this footage, which is obviously a massive fleet of seagulls, isn't what was seen in this other camera angle. However,
Nope.
That's a lot higher.
No. Look at the movements of the objects.
But a reflection or a refraction.
Higher res footage. You take into
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like,
could be some gnats super close to the camera.
Just an artifact created.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it could also be like them flying over where that camera was even.
Crazy
like,
thought. Could be aliens.
I will let you guys know.
It's possible, but I think
Even if
it's definitely a seagull.
I'm not even saying necessarily aliens. I'm open.
Pausing again at 417.
I'm open to discussion of all sorts of things outside of aliens, even. You know, like just other unexplained natural phenomena. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, don't quit trying to sell the shit to me as fucking seagulls when it clearly is not. Like, it's fucking like 1,000 feet in the air. It's not fucking seagulls. Like, no way. I don't buy that
Be a
bullshit.
reflection of seagulls.
Let's say, sure, I guess.
I mean, there's a band named after it, so
with
it's definitely.
with their sophisticated weather equipment cameras they have.
No,
reflections
that
of
was
seagulls.
clearly like a webcam pointing out of a window at an office somewhere, which like, as you they were showing a video of them pointing at a building, and then they panned up. There was a lens flare when they panned up, and that lens flare looked exactly like all the other shit in the sky from the other videos. Just there could be aliens, but there also could not be.
Somebody had a screensaver going on in the background.
Yeah, I had my old Winamp visualization going. It was just a reflection off the window. It literally was almost like a spot-on version of that visualization, just little white dots with little tracers moving around.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what that was.
Well, let's just go around the table one more. What do you think?
I would like to see them recreate it. I mean, if they want me to believe that it's seagulls, at the same time have that same video camera going, capturing the same seagulls, which I'm sure that didn't just happen one time. They had seagulls.
Right.
And then also have another shot simultaneously side by side showing, like, we're going to focus on this one seagull, see its flight pattern and how it matches here. Seagulls.
Done. Yeah.
Seagulls.
But like Ryan said, like in that one, the altitude was for me the big thing. Like
It
that
was
other
strange
one was,
looking for sure.
You know, that other one had to have been thousands of feet in the sky.
Possibly, yeah.
It looked like it was like.
They were.
Well, it could also be
high up.
perspective too, like it
No,
looking
for sure,
higher.
for sure. But like, if it is perspective and it is that far away and things are different, like, I shouldn't be viewing orbs of light. I should be seeing wings of birds.
Let's reach out to Captain Disillusion and have him just fuck this one up for
Fuck
us.
this up for me.
But
man.
also, if it's like a fisheye effect, like if anything is like photography, like if the aperture is like 1.2 of the f-stop, like it's gonna be glowy looking like that because it's taking in so much light, and then if it's just refracting off of or reflecting off a seagull, it's gonna look like it's a glow of light. That's like how, like, when I'm setting up these cameras doing this, like when he was washed out and I had like the exposure up and I had to dial it back a little bit. You can't do that on like a weather camera, like if it was like a weather camera for like a news station
But that
or not.
doesn't explain the altitude.
But true.
I automatically don't think it's birds anymore. I just did a little research to find out how high seagulls fly. The highest recorded flight, at least according to this article, is right around 124 feet.
Yeah.
All right, so picture this: you're at the top of a news station. You have a little webcam pointing out a window that's over facing the city for shots like that. You're on the top floor. The top floor of this building has glass at an angle.
Mm-hmm.
That webcam is pointing at that glass.
Mm-hmm.
There are birds flying somewhere around the top of that building.
Mhm.
All you're catching is like essentially reflections off the glass at a shitty camera rate after processing and decompression of the video.
I'm going to agree with you, but they've had these types of cameras installed on news crew things like this since, you know, God, mid-90s probably, at least. And I ain't never seen some shit like that. You just seen it at least once. At least once.
I'll close with, I want aliens to exist so badly, and I want to see like a very convincing video of it. Like, I would love to be like invaded by a fleet of aliens. I just have not seen anything enough to convince me. Like, I definitely
Let's
think
get murdered on the moon.
Murdered on Mars.
Murdered on Mars.
Hashtag murder on Mars. No, I really want aliens to come visit us, and like, or if they have, I want to see like, you know, some like, I want to at least be able to go visit someplace and like check it out for myself, not like this shared video with 180p and stuff.
So the video is not convincing to you?
Not enough. Like, I mean, I'll definitely have to do some more research on other videos, but
If you search flock of birds video UFO, you will find just so many.
Fuck you, YouTube. I'm gonna go ahead and say it again.
It looks like a
Fuck
lot
you,
of these
YouTube.
in scenarios are the opposite, where it's actually like a flock of birds in the sky, and it looks like it. But I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I think if it was anything besides a reflection, there would have been 100,000 people capturing it on their cell phones, and at least one other person being like, "Hey, did anyone see them weird fish lights swimming around in the sky last night? It was weird."
It was weird.
For sure.
All right, that's all I have.
I guess one other thing I want to talk about, just because I don't want to dig into the aliens too much deeper, but I think everybody should take their free time to look up a guy named Dr. Stephen Greer. He's got a couple documentaries that were out on Netflix. One was called Sirius, the other one's called Unacknowledged. If you haven't seen them, check out his website, SiriusDisclosure.com. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. There's also
Non-sponsored.
Not non-sponsored, but super interesting. Even if you don't believe, very just if
Interesting
nothing else,
stories.
it's a cool story. Yeah.
Buy his new audiobook, $49.99.
Please donate now.
Brought to you by Audible.
Brought to you by Audible.
So now we got a couple
definitely
stories.
check.
I don't know how. I feel like this has probably been running a little long. Big little story break. Do a little would you rather? Or you want to continue with the stories? What do we got?
I got one just little tidbit. And then
Yeah, let's go.
Hop into the would you rather.
Sure.
I'd like to touch briefly on a subject here. School shootings.
Okay.
That's about it. Then we want to go to. There's a robotic virtual assistant that is actually heading to.
I was like, oh man.
The ISS, the International
We all
Space
find him
Station.
hilarious, obviously, but yes, the robot on the International Space Station.
Yeah, so if anybody has seen the video game Destiny or played it, there's a character called a ghost.
Peter.
Essentially what this ghost is a little computer. It's got an artificial intelligence in it that follows you around and helps you with stuff. There is a robot that is essentially going to be the exact same thing. It's going to help astronauts in the space station.
That's cool.
Yes, it is pretty much running a. It's called Simon, I believe, is what the name was for the for this little guy.
Perfect.
Crew Interactive Mobile Companion. So they call him Simon. He's got a
Simone.
different
Spanish.
version of IBM's Watson, modified version is what they call it. But pretty much he's just gonna go up there and hang out with all the astronauts and be this personal assistant they can talk to.
I really wonder what the actual, like, with the exception of just life-shattering loneliness, the purpose of that is. It's like you're an astronaut, you're up in space. Like, what are you asking an assistant? Like, what's the score of the next game?
They just
Assistant.
want him to say.
I would use it as a
things.
calculator to not have to give it both my hands. I would. Pretty much, it's going to be a feature of. They're going to do some tests specifically with that, where he's going to overshadow somebody performing a complex medical task, as well as what was the other one? Him and Simon and the astronaut are going to both solve a Rubik's Cube together.
Holy shit.
That's fun.
This story is from Futurism.com, and I would like to give a personal fuck you. I've had about 37 pop-ups on this website, and I've been on it for about 2 seconds.
That's
Fucking
good.
Kroger ads. It's unreal.
That's awesome. Well, first off, like, what are you doing without a pop-up blocker, man?
Right.
I like
haven't
to
had a single
support, because I would like to imagine no one's using pop-up blockers on our videos, so I like to do my part. Not have pop-up blockers on.
Yeah.
Need that ad revenue.
I think Watson, like the whole idea of it's really cool, but if I was an astronaut, my one use of Watson would be I would make him watch me while I'm naked, masturbating, floating around in a circle,
Same guy
just
who wants
normal
to be
stuff.
killed
Giving me
on
live
Mars.
play-by-play on how it feels about it.
To
Yeah,
change the topic just a little bit, to play
Look
off
at
kind of what
me.
you said, do you think that if in 0G you masturbated, the ejaculate would propel you backwards?
That's what I'm hoping, and I'm hoping he
Just in
sees it.
circles.
Just go faster.
That's eventually gonna smack you in the face.
Probably. Well, eventually it would hit something. Hopefully Watson in the face.
How do you feel about that,
Watson.
Simon?
That's really it. I just wanted to bring this to light.
Unintentional.
It's
Wilson.
not too much farther down the road that we're all going to have personal assistants flying around us.
Oh, for sure.
What do you mean too much longer?
It's not flying yet.
No.
Oh, flying personal
Yeah.
assistants. I'm sorry.
I can see, like especially like ghosts like in Destiny for sure.
For sure.
As long as it's not Peter Dinklage saying there's a wizard on the moon, I'm totally okay with it.
Gilbert Godfrey's voice comes out of this
There
ghost
was
thing.
a thing that pissed me off about Destiny is like apparently you just have like the ability to like teleport from your ship to like the surface of the planet,
Bullshit.
but like you're gonna drop me in the same spot every goddamn time.
Right? Like,
Let's use this technology here, guys. Let's make it work.
Fucking ridiculous.
Fucking ridiculous.
AI is like the future for sure. Like I mean, every phone's like touting AI, whether it's like
Everything's
Google
got it.
Assistant getting better, Watson probably going to be using a form of guarantee it's an algorithm that Google makes for answers and knowledge or something. But it's awesome, like hands free. Like I mean, imagine going to like say you're a mechanic and like instead of like trying to, or like maybe not even a mechanic, and you're just trying to fix your car, and like instead of watching a YouTube video and you need like both hands, just have it float above you, project like a hologram on top of the ground near you. Oh, this is how you change your oil if you don't know how to
Come
change
underneath
oil.
me
or-
and project it on the muffler of this car. So
yeah, exactly. Like show a blueprint of like just projecting
Fuck
that
that.
like AR wise.
Just do it.
Probably true.
It'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
But
I was trying to find out information on how it actually says it's free flying, like
yeah, because it needs like some kind of
That's,
fuel. Well,
like
no,
a
free flying.
propeller, like
Well, in
I'd
space
imagine
you really wouldn't
compressed
need it.
air.
Yeah,
It
probably.
just shoots out compressed
Yeah.
air in different holes out of his body, kind of like Ray does.
Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, we all do.
I'm done
technically.
with this website.
Sneezing,
47
farting.
Kroger ads.
Let's close this website and let's close this thing.
All right, let's go to this
let's
game.
hop on to
All
this
right.
Would You Rather.
We got a would you rather.
No.
I'll talk slower because I'm going to add a theme song in here for it. No, I'm just kidding. But if you're unfamiliar, we'll give a scenario. Would you rather this or that scenario? I'll be heading the question and answering any questions these guys have about the scenario, and then we'll eventually come to a conclusion and give our answers on which one we would prefer. I was first gonna do some like silly shit or some wacky shit, but I came across one. It just made me think more, so I decided to choose this one. Now, again, don't answer right away because there's gonna be caveats. But would you rather be able to see 5 minutes ahead in the future or relive the last 5 minutes? Questions.
Do you
No
get
answers.
to do them unlimited?
No. You get
One
to do
time?
them one time per day.
One time per day. Okay.
One time per day.
You've already thought about all these, haven't you?
Do you get to choose what time of the day that you can see in the future or like in the past, like just willy-nilly, like I want to do it at 12 p.m. or like 2
Like
p.m.
I'm going out at 10. Can I see 5 minutes from
No.
10?
You can only
10:05?
see
Like, I have
5
to be
minutes
there at 10.
in the present time. You can
See
only
5
see
minutes
5
forward.
minutes in the future, yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
What do you say? You can only do it once per day. Is that once per day in a 24-hour period, or does that have a reset marker that's like every day at midnight, once per day?
It resets every midnight.
So
you could use it at 11:59.
say the original
and
question
12:01.
one more time.
Would you rather be able to see 5 minutes in the future or be able to relive the last 5 minutes?
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is essentially like, let's say you are about to make a decision. You could be like, oh, let me see 5 minutes into the future real quick and how it affected me, and then either choose to make that decision or not. The other way around is where you could
You would
make
have
the
to-
decision, and then if you didn't like the way it goes, you could at least go back 5 minutes to try to redo something.
I'm going with relive the last 5 minutes for sure.
We
for
weren't
me, it
ready for
sounds like
answers
the
yet.
exact same thing.
Well, no, because one, you get to see a possibility, and two, You get
Isn't
to,
the other one just a possibility anyways then? At that
get
point,
to-
you go back in time 5 minutes, you're just redoing it all over
It doesn't
again.
matter. You get to live 2 possibilities versus 1 versus getting to see 1 and choose whether or not you want it.
Well, I think seeing the future would you would picture
get to
yourself
have
in that
memories.
future. You
Picturing
get
yourself, but having the actual experience of doing it 2 different ways.
Do you have a recollection of it? Like, say, like you do
Do
decide.
you
to
know
go,
what you lost or?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Oh, so if you go relive it again, you don't
See?
know?
You don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
you,
so-
you don't know you
Then it
relived
is the
it. You
same.
don't know you either made the right choice or a mistake.
Back
so
to
it's
the
exactly
bronze.
the same.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Exactly the same answers.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which one I choose.
Neither.
If you can't recollect it, it's exactly the same. If you cannot
I think if I
choose-
had to choose, it would have to be the latter. I would have to be able to go back in time, just because if I only get it once a day and something happens that I need to use it, I might as well not have to constantly be looking forward in time. I think I would be able to be used more on demand, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas if I can only choose one time a day to look forward in time, I would have to plan that out.
And you'd be worrying all the time, too. Worrying a lot more, anyways.
Yeah, like, I mean, if I don't use it at all today, it's fucking 11:55. It's like, hey guys, let's hop on a game of PUBG real quick. I gotta use this thing before it times out.
Well, not only that, you like, let's just say, you, like,
I'd do like something crazy. I'd just go run out into traffic or something. Just be like, oh shit, I don't want these don't roll over. I got to use this and just go.
Well, that's
jump
another
onto the
question
highway.
too. Let's say you die. If your consciousness is gone, can you still?
Not if
when
it's
you heard
gone.
that's a whole
Okay.
other
You'd
question,
have to
though.
be
When
in
you
the.
So you'd have to
die-
get hit by the car, but you can't
Before
like,
you
be
died.
fatally wounded.
Yeah, you'd have to be like
I mean,
while
you'd
your
be
while your
wounded, but
shit
you
was
couldn't
flipping in
die.
the air, you'd have to do whatever you had to do to
Well,
activate it, which we don't know what we'd have to do to
I done
activate it
fucked
either.
up. Let's turn
Because we don't know if when you die, your consciousness dies.
Or the knowledge of your body.
Yeah, so maybe that just continues forever.
That's a
In
whole
this scenario,
that's a whole nother
it all
hour
goes
On the next
conversation.
podcast.
It all goes black. In this scenario, it all goes black.
And nothingness forever.
All right, let's go around the table. Would you?
I feel like I would have to do the relive because I feel like looking into the future, it's like, sure, you can be like, I just made a decision. Let me see 5 minutes into the future, but you can't necessarily like if you've already made the decision. It's a weird flaky spot because it's like I'm gonna look 5 minutes into the future. Have I already done the deed?
One's
And
real
if I
and one's
do,
not.
can I reverse it?
Right.
Like, can I won't ask myself the question, but I'd have to say relive the last 5 minutes because it would allow me to do things that I really wanted to do and couldn't get away with it, like just, someone just pissing you off and you just want to fucking whop them in the face or something.
No, let's go back in time.
Yeah,
and
and then
handle
just
this
like,
accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'd like hands down would have to kind of pick that one for sure.
How often would you get like used to it and then like somehow get drunk and think you have the one more time?
You fuck up.
Like
Oh shit!
You use it at
Fuck!
like
I just
12:01.
stabbed that dude.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine you feel exactly the same as the guy that was living in Hawaii and got that missile alert, told his boss off, and found out it wasn't real.
Or those same people that do the practical joke lottery tickets.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Call up, I quit.
yeah, same thing.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing.
I'll be there Monday.
Okay. In conclusion, life isn't real. Everybody,
It all goes black.
All goes black.
have
Yep.
a great night.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us. And if you felt that we gave you a little bit of comedy at least, or taught you something, or made you smile, or you straight up hated us, feel free to
And
share
fuck
it.
you.
And by the time you see this, hopefully we'll have
No.
something for you to like
I
and
love you.
subscribe to.
Yes.
Follow us on things. All right, and we'll close it up there.
Good
Good
job.
show.